have already what I wanted to say. I did that to you.
I know.
We work for TV.
Especially for you.
We work for TV.
But you can't do the comment and say that Ambassador Yamani was saying. I think that's it. And it's that. But I really intentionally was planning to do something. Because everybody would ask the same, what's your position? What's happening? This and that. Then you have to write something for everybody to know that this is. And I don't want to make it official with headings, just to position paper for everybody. So this is the real position now. Now we think that 2216 is, there is no way to explain it. It's explained itself. I mean, it's very easy. It's a roadmap. If you take 2216 and remove the sanction part and armed blockade, the rest, I mean, the listing side, which is the two names and the armed blockade, the rest is applicable. You just, they have to start from point one, withdrawing from the cities they occupied, and doing 1, 2, 3, 4 that we have like 9 points in in 2216, and we'll be working together. But they just try to seize that moment. They feel that they are now in the run, and they want just to exploit the political side of it.
Is there any progress on getting more aid?
Yes, I mean, I mentioned that in my note, that all the liberated areas are getting more humanitarian relief operations. And even Hodeidah is receiving. Hodeidah from the past was receiving more and more OCHA and international relief operations. This was a practice. Aden was closed for humanitarian operations, but now after the liberation of Aden, it's open for humanitarian operations. We are receiving, I mean, increasingly a lot of international help.
But you said just the liberated area?
We said that it's the liberated area. Aden, that's part of the central side parts of Yemen. And I mean, now the areas of conflict are more limited now. We have confrontation in Shabwa, areas in the center of the south, and areas in the center of the north. But the rest is...
The United Nations is still calling for ceasefire, but since the coalition is making more achievements on the ground, do you still have any interest?
I mean, we will be working with the UN for the ceasefire and the humanitarian pause, and we think that that we don't want to give justification that the government is not working for that. We will keep working with the good offices of the Secretary General, with his especially the boy, and we'll do everything in our hand to make that, I mean, international call a reality. But really, there is a lot of enhancement, a lot of enhancement of the humanitarian situation in Aden, in Lahaj, in Taiz. It's still Taiz in a war zone with a lot of confrontation, and the Houthis is still insisting in punishing the people of Taiz, and there is a lot of suffering in Taiz. But in other areas, they are running. For example, in the central plateau in Eb, they are running out of the province, and there is limited clashes in some areas. I think that this Houthi coup is defeating itself because of the people. I mean, all these grievances of the past and what happened with the Houthis. They took the power by force, and they thought that they can dictate what they want by force. And we have a political platform. We have the GCC initiative. We have the outcome of the national dialogue, and we call upon everybody to go back to that point where we were suffering from the coup of September 2014 when the Houthis took over. And hopefully we get to that point.
Do you think it's any more likely that the country can split north and south?
No.
That this retake of the south?
No.
So you anticipate taking back Saada?
No. This is what the national army now is doing. Now, they were talking a lot about when the army started liberating Aden, that this is intentionally to secession the country. But now that the national army is moving towards the north, and recovering areas in the north and fighting in Taiz and fighting in Eb. That's all areas, that in the central plateau, in the northern former Yemen Arab Republic, and which means that the Hadi's government is indeed working for the unity of the country. We are not talking now about secession of the country. We are talking about recovering our country from the coup. And once we have it back, once we start to implement the outcome of the national dialogue, whatever the Yemeni people will decide, we will follow suit.
When can you reach Sana'a?
I think that Sana'a is the Houthis are collapsing in Sana'a as we are speaking to you now. But it will take some time. I don't think months, but few weeks before we can achieve that.
So what does this check do now?
Well, check is just to give you very simple outline of his efforts. He went to Muscat. There is nothing in Muscat that we should recognize as a UN-led process. But he was talking with the Houthis. This is something separate. This is not something that the government is recognizing, because we recognize the UN-led process. So we think that he brought from the Houthis the 10 points. I don't know if everybody was saying that 10 points. He's starting by saying that they will react positively towards 2216. And I can understand that, because 2216 is you take it or you leave it. You can be positive or can be partially positive. You should take it or leave it. So, but it seems that they are coming one step towards taking 2216. Once they are ready to take 2216, everybody will be working with them. And they need to implement 2216, and then they put conditions in it's a 10-point plan. They recognize 2216, they said they will deal positively with 2216. Then they asked for the cessation of hostilities, the lifting of embargo, aerial, sea, all this stuff, and put more other conditions. They are talking about monitors, and if they withdraw, this the same rhetoric that they presented in the past. If we withdraw, then the vacuum, who will be filling that vacuum? In the past, they used to say that everybody is Daesh in the south, and it turned out that there is a national army and ready to take over. And we think that if they withdraw, there will be a national army that will take care of the rest of the country and will be responsible for the transition.
I think they don't have as like an initiative from them. In terms of that, this be accepted.
Ismail, when the Sheikh in the beginning, we were talking about alien, you remember? We said if they want to get to give a sort of to start to initiate a goodwill, a starting point, they can withdraw from Aden at that time. We were talking. But now Aden and the south is almost liberated, so they can withdraw from Taiz. Why punishing the people? Why punishing civilians and killing civilians and blocking the humanitarian aid from getting into Taiz? It's really, I mean, it's really very sad. And when you use the civilian population just to empower yourself in your political agenda, this is nonsense. And I think that's why we ask for the international community to put more pressure on them to be a responsible factor. We still, up till now, and I mentioned that to you more than one time, we consider them part of the political, composition of the country. We don't consider them as a terrorist group. We think that they should have a part, they should be an active part of the future of the country. But they don't want to act as a responsible factor into this, and it's very sad, really. But I think with the pressure from the international community, we will get there.
So you think Taz will be the next
Yeah. Now, if you see the map, Eb is being liberated, and it's north to Taiz, and it's really that you are cutting all the supply and interoperabilities and access to Taiz, which means that Taiz might be liberated shortly. the UN, always the UN language is generic. They are talking about it, all sides. But the government is a responsible government. And for example, there is a rumors last week, they said that the government decided to block the port of Hodeidah. You might remember that. And this is nonsense. I mean, the government we know that the humanitarian operations are going to Hodeidah. We asked the OCHA to send also operations to Aden. And we think that we are a responsible government and we are responsible for our people. We think that it's a moral responsibility on us, not on the Houthis, to defend our people. And if there is anything that can signal any irresponsible act by the government of Yemen, I will be responsible to it. But there is no intention by the government of Yemen to block aid and access.
Are you allowing
actions of the coalition?
Okay, the coalition is responsible for its own action. If you consider that the coalition is responsible for blocking access, but if the coalition is blocking, then let me tell you, for example, that we agree with OCHA on the implementation mechanism, the verification and UN verification and monitoring mechanism for the commercial aid. So now commercial aid is in its way. All the commercial businesses are also will be part of the UN inspection process. And this is also in coordination with the coalition. If the coalition is blocking, then they will not accept dealing with OCHA and facilitating international access. I mean, the coalition is doing everything in its hand to make the life of Yemenis, to improve the life of Yemenis, but not to give the Houthis any chance to rearm and make that agony a bit longer.
The military coordinator said he visited Sudan and found that schools and hospitals have been hit by airstrikes. Do you think that's the case?
I mean, we know that. I mean, the war is the suffering of our people is everywhere. Is my suffering, and I don't want to go into details what's happening. But we promised from the beginning that the reconstruction of Saada is our obligation. But then what happened? The Houthis came from Saada and took over the entire country, and they wanted to turn the entire country into a Saada model. We want to recapture our country and rebuild that country. It's our responsibility, for the reconstruction process is ours.
Are you blocking any areas? Are you allowing aid to go to the Houthi areas?
To the Houthi areas, Houthis are still controlling Al-Hodeidah port, and all the international aid operations are going to Hodeidah. So we are not conditioning that. I mean, but we think that it's a responsibility of the UN to monitor the delivery, because we know that the Houthis are taking, kidnapping the humanitarian aid and they are distributing that in the black market. We know that, and we mentioned that to OCHA in our reports. But more than that, we don't have any. We can't put conditionalities on the international aid. They are free to deliver to Hodeidah, they are free to deliver to Aden, to everywhere. And they have their own assessment,
Have you spoken to the Saudis about releasing the money that they
Okay, look, this is a very old issue. It was established when the Saudis promised to give the 274. The Saudis, they say it more than one time, and Ambassador last time he said it here in front of you that we have a memo of understanding and we deliver that amount. OCHA, they say no, they didn't receive it yet. I don't know who is saying what, but the Saudis are saying that they delivered that aid, and OCHA, they say that there is few difficulties that still facing that, but the Emiratis, they promised 81 million 2 days ago, and this is something positive, and I think that other GCC countries will contribute to this flash appeal. For example, if you see, for example, how is the Saudis were also dispensing their money through Salman centers. And OCHA should work in this environment. I mean, of course, it will be a pleasure for the international community, but everybody is free to, you are putting your money and you want, of course, that there is a UN-led process, UN system that require some specific agreements on the allocations and this, and the passing of all these resources, and they agree on that, and they are very happy because yesterday Mr. O'Brien, in his comment on the Emirati pledge, he was very happy. We thank and we call upon others to contribute.
I thought he was discussing Yemen.
Yeah, he's today in Aden. Yeah.
To facilitate the crossing, the access to food. Seems that this is a big problem.
Difficult question because the crossing lines are moving. You knew that yesterday was in Aden, today is in Eb, and this is not a case of a permanent warring zone. It's a moving warring zone. So we think that this coup is collapsing, and the international community are having every day more proofs that they are collapsing and they are leaving areas, and we think that we will solve this problem shortly with your help.
I've got to ask, do you feel that there's any impact on the conflict of this Iran nuclear deal? Many people here in the U.S. are saying...
A lot of people, they say that there is a positive impact. But we love Iran, but everybody in his own room. So we want them to be in their room, and they are brothers. We don't want to mix businesses, you know. We call upon the Iranian people to think about the Iranian people, not to think about the Yemeni people. And we are very happy with whatever they will achieve. But leave us in peace. And we think that they cannot impose the Shia sects on our people in the peninsula. The Yemenis are not Shia. We will not be Shia, and even our Zaydis are not Shia, and they say that in their teachings. And they should think that empowering their hegemon politics in our region is impossible. It's impossible. We cannot take it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.